Just when I thought I was out to eat my ricotta stuffed shell ricotta lunch, the news world pulls me back in. Alvin Kamara getting indicted. This happened kind of while we were on the last live stream at the tail end. So I thought I'd go live again to talk about it because you deserve, I work for you. You deserve content on every single piece of news that's out there, breaking news style. Here at the Fantasy Football Show, we're going live right now. File on in to talk about this breaking news here. Alvin Kamara, what to expect. NFL suspension incoming, right? Court dates coming up. Let's go. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
You know, the ricotta shells get delivered. The Postmates guy pulls up. Miss Smitty's food, my food's ready, and then this news happens to break. We knew I was going live a bunch of times today. We knew it. We said it. We knew it. Here it is. Here we are. And now we got breaking news. Alvin Kamara being indicted. And so let's break all this down. What's it mean from a fantasy football perspective? What's it mean for the NFL? What's it mean for the Saints? A Clark grand jury has indicted Alvin Kamara on three accomplices on conspiracy to commit battery and battery resulting in substantial bodily harm. While Kamara's court cases, his court dates, were able to be moved around this past season while it was in civil court, the criminal case classification means a court date will be set for March 2nd. It's been likely for some time. Basically, here we are again. Kamara's getting suspended. Look, I was pushing this out there all last season, and I was wrong on the timing, but I can't still for the life of me understand why. Because the footage was released, but because some Bob was holding the phone, like, imagine like this monitor right here. Okay, this monitor right here. The footage was on the monitor, and dude's holding phone this far away at an angle at the monitor, and his footage got released. And you have a lot of people running their mouth saying the footage isn't clear. Look at the footage. There's no way a grand jury's going to indict him off of that footage, or there's no way he's going to be convicted off of that footage. It's so blurry. That footage isn't what's going to be in court, Bob. The footage that is on the actual video system, the DVR, is what's going to be visible. Not the Bob's recorded iPhone footage from 5 feet away from the monitor. So that whole bad quality of footage that was released during the season, it was just so bad that people didn't even care. And I'm not like sitting here trying to like say, oh, I've been waiting for Kamara. Like, I'm not happy about Kamara getting indicted. I'm not happy about somebody getting beat up. I'm not happy about any of this. But I also think that this guy, in a little bit of a way, is a POS because of the way he beat this guy into a pulp. Him and his friends just jumped him, kicked him. There's footage of it. And I'm sorry I'm a little judgmental of it, but it is what it is. And if you want to defend Kamara and say Kamara is okay to do this, I don't know. I don't know that I'd invite you over for supper. Let's just say that. But file on in. We've got Maine in here. We've got David. We got Frank. We got Joe. Appreciate you guys all being here. Trey, Thomas, Adam. We're back again talking Alvin Kamara. And this guy is likely going to be suspended, I would say, for 6 to 8 games or indefinitely, like I predicted last year, and I'll be a year early on, and it's unfortunate that happens, but sometimes you do predict things a year too early. But the NFL, this is a bad look. He's indicted. There's a court date for March 2nd, it said? Yeah, right here. Court date will be set for March 2nd. We don't know what that means. What kind of hearing will this be? Will it be an initial hearing about the court date? Could it still get pushed forward again? Yeah, but guess what? Being indicted is a big difference. This criminal situation versus the civil, big difference. And while the NFL does traditionally wait until the criminal process plays out before they hand down suspensions and discipline, there's also what's called the commissioner exemplis paid leave, which is when the NFL feels like there's a bad light on a situation, they're basically saying, we'll pay you, but you need to step away from the field right now until this is resolved. That way it's not deemed as punishment, even though the player's not getting to play and do his job. They're getting paid. It would be like you at work going through some controversial case situation involving you, and let's say you type up TPS reports for a living. Bob's typing up TPS reports for a living. He gets a tap on his shoulder. He looks over, and Bill, holding his coffee mug, says, yeah, we're going to have you go ahead and go home because there's allegations against you that we don't like that are bad light. But because you're innocent until proven guilty, yeah, we're going to go ahead and pay you while you're at home watching Netflix. Is that okay with you? Sure. Let's hope this thing gets dragged out. You know what I'm talking about? I'll see you all in a couple months. Later. See you later. That's paid leave. That's paid leave. That's not punishment. It does suck. You're in public opinion. I'm not saying anybody is actually hoping for that situation to unfold or happen. I'm merely saying that everybody's saying that discipline can't happen. It's untrue because of the paid leave situation. So Kamara could be removed from the field. The NFL does have the ability to paid leave him. And if the way this is going now, there's a strong opportunity for the NFL to say out indefinitely on paid leave, and he's not coming back until we can confidently say he's innocent or the charges get dropped. They're not going to get dropped, though. They're not going to get dropped. The only way this could fall apart is if there's some kind of, corruption at the top of this thing, and there's footage of something different that paints a different story. We don't know it, but the odds are very strongly against there being any sort of angle to this that's going to get Kamara out of this situation. Him and his buddies on video beat a man senseless, and while the man appeared to be unconscious and not moving, they all kicked him. And Kamara, according to reports, was at least involved in one of those kicks and strikes on the individual, according to reports. While said man was unconscious on the ground, Kamara kicked the man. And everyone's going to say, you can't tell on the footage. You can't tell on the footage. You can't tell. Stop telling me that the footage is blurry, Bob. The footage is not blurry. The footage you've seen is blurry. The footage from a man standing next to a monitor trying to record it to get paid by TMZ. His footage is blurry because he's a horrible filmer. Cinematographer is what I was trying to say. He's horrible at his job. This guy that works at the security office, AA will tell you. This guy holding the phone like this, probably trying to record it on the zoom in, dude. Zoom in. What are you doing? Horrible footage, bro. I bet TMZ paid him $25 for that footage. It was awful. Do better. You can do better, Bob, when you're recording footage from an illegal situation. Anyway, what do I expect? I expect Kamara to very swiftly get handed an indefinite paid leave suspension. However, we saw this unfold in a different way. The NFL's weird. The NFL does what they want. The NFL doesn't listen to reason. The NFL doesn't use logic with some of its discipline. It hands out discipline one moment, doesn't the other. Heavy hand one moment, and then not the other. Let's see if we can get Tony on here and see if Tony can talk about it. Let's see if Tony will be free. And I know Baked In Boys has come on before. Baked In Boys, you're free to call in. Let me see if I can get Tony to call in on this topic right here. Tony. Where's Tony? Tony the Tiger. Dial in on Kamara News if free. Let's see if Tony will dial in. Let's see here. So, if I had to predict, I'm going to say this guy misses half a season. If not the whole. I mean, he could miss the whole season. Like, if this March. The truth is, we don't know what this March 2nd court date is going to reveal. Is it just a preliminary hearing? And then this thing drags on into the season again? And then Kamara is able to play until there's more bad light that kind of gets casted on Kamara. Like, is there a world where Kamara could play all year long again? Sure. I highly doubt that happens, but is there a world where it could happen? Absolutely. This is the American court system, United States court system. This is the NFL. we could see Kamara play 2 more years before we see anything happen. Let's be real. Let's be real honest. We don't know. But if I had to guess, I would say minimum of half of a year this guy's out. And there's a real strong shot, depending on how quickly this thing escalates and how much bad releasing of information takes place. Because if there's more clear footage that comes out in a dead off season where people are looking for stories, no offense to even me, but something like this happens, I jump on it because my people want to know, and there's ramifications galore. I'm not just out here trying to get clicks. Do I want my channel to be successful? Yeah. Do I want to cover topics that are immediately in the news so that we can get trending videos and get people in here? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that this isn't in some sense a lure into people getting into my world because I'm hitting on something faster than anybody and going live and breaking it. But it doesn't mean that I'm trying to fictitiously go get clicks or use this guy's situation to just better my channel and better my viewership or something. This is a relevant piece of news. If it wasn't relevant, if you all didn't want to know about it, I wouldn't go live on it. So I'm going live on it because everybody wants to hear about it. But my point is that, a piece of footage getting released, another clearer version of this attack, from a better angle or from the original DVR where it's clear, there's clarity to the footage. If that gets released in a dead off season, full of smoke, full of people trying to get content out, he's not going to escape yet another time, another release without a whole bunch of news and bad light getting shed on it. So I fully believe he's, I just subbed. Thank you, Apocalypse. Appreciate you. Kamara's a bum, says fan 19. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. This guy, watching what he did to this other individual, I'm not a fan of Kamara. I'm not a fan of Kamara at all. Saints have an out of his contract next year, 19 million dead cap. Let's pull up Kamara's contract and see what it looks like. But they also might have an out on his contract in terms of this, legal activity, that he, or an assault, there's definitely, let's see here. Contract. We don't know what the details of his contract are in terms of something like this happening. So Kamara is a free agent in 2026. That's a long contract. Jeez. 2023, he has a $9.4 million salary. He has a 19.372, as you said, cap hit. Potential 2024 out. You can see that at this. Let me see if I can get. I'm going to put a little line so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let's make this color red. Okay, so now we got a little pointer. So right here, 19.372. So 19.3 mil cap hit, 9.4 million dollar salary, but this potential out in 2024 with a 9.2, as you said, dead cap hit. So we don't know what the contract states though in terms of getting in trouble and all this stuff. So we'll have to kind of see. But yeah, I don't know what happens with Kamara. I think paid leave happens this year because this thing's not going to probably be resolved by August. He'll be well underway in a court case, during the season. But it's possible the court case drags on. So he'll be on, I believe, indefinite paid leave suspension until things get so bad in the public opinion that they do something different, or they just leave him there until 2024 and then the Saints cut him. So we'll see. But nice job, Slats. Yeah, that's definitely what the contract looks like. Mitch says AFX for subscribing to the moon. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show, and we will take care of business. We'll talk about Kamara's value. We'll talk about whatever you want. From a dynasty perspective, good luck trading him ever again, because now he is in a world of hurt. And I don't know that we'll ever see Kamara return to fantasy football prominence ever again. Kamara, number one pick in the prison league, maybe Dark. He could be Smitty. Where do we draft Kamara now because of this in this 8th or 9th round? Well, so in redraft, we were seeing Kamara go in the 7th round without knowing any updates, and that felt like a steal. Let's just say this is round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This was about where he was going, top of the 7, and it felt pretty good not knowing anything, right? 7th round value, there's still some good talent there. And, while it's tempting to say, hey, what if he plays half of a year before anything really, evolves or something, which it's possible. There's a world where I could see that happening, but there's also a world where this thing gets ugly enough that the league puts him on paid leave before the season begins, and he never gets off of it. He's just on paid leave all year. Or he plays the whole year. We don't really know. Last year proved to us that sometimes people don't care. Sometimes the news world doesn't emphasize something that we think they're going to, that we do, and we don't know. So there's a possibility that this could go in 100 different directions. I don't really know. I would say that I no longer love him at that top of 7 anymore, because there are players that are going around 7, like Javonte could go around 7. At least you're going to get half of a year of Javonte, even though I think he does miss maybe the first half of the year, or he starts the first month on the PUP. So like Javonte's better. It's tough. I would say like maybe this territory you start thinking about Alvin Kamara under the current context that we have, but maybe that drops off too. It also wouldn't shock me if you just didn't go after him at all, because what if you could get a McKinnon, at 8 in round 8 instead of Kamara, and you're like, I don't know if McKinnon's going to do anything, but yeah. So this is a good point. Maybe this is where we start heading in terms of who do the Saints replace him with, and Zach Charbonnet would be phenomenal in a New Orleans Saints uniform. Like I'd rather have him in different locations, but I'm just picturing Charbonnet getting drafted to start somewhere, period, and that gets me excited. Charbonnet.
Get Charbonnet. Pop open a nice bottle of Charbonnet.
Cheers. Charbonnet is the man, and I'd love to see Charbonnet starting anywhere. But, we look at like the New Orleans Saints at 29 overall. Could they try and replace him with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a Alvin Kamara hybrid? Could they draft a Charbonnet? Could they wait until round 2 and take a Sean Tucker or a Charbonnet? Because Charbonnet may not go even the top of the 2nd round. So like the New Orleans Saints, really any team could land Charbonnet in round 2. We just don't know where he's going to go. Jahmyr Gibbs most likely will go at the tail end of round 1 or the very top of round 2. And so if the Saints wanted to replace Kamara with Kamara, they would draft Jahmyr Gibbs at 29, who's the next Alvin Kamara, and an absolute Moon Man monster.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Look at Gibbs. Look at Gibby. This is the new Gibby. I'm sorry, Antonio Gibson.
Space Monsters.
We're taking away your nickname. It now goes to this Gibby. Jay Gibby. Jahmyr Gibbs. Jay Gibby is going to be an absolute phenom at the next level. So will Zach Charbonnet. So will Bijan Robinson. And maybe Sean Tucker in the right spot will be. That's why we got 3 rookie running backs on the Moon Men list. But not just any rookie running backs. There are a lot of people that like Evans and other running backs more than Tucker and Charbonnet. It's not like we're just throwing all rookies on here to see if mud sticks to the wall. These are a very specific, 2 of which are very underrated currently in the fantasy football world, and I do believe that's going to change when people start getting on the Zach Charbonnet train. But we orchestrated the whole movement. Okay, we are higher on Charbonnet than anybody. We have been. Last year, he was my number 2/3 running back. And then he decided to go back to UCLA and play football. Tucker, we're higher on Tucker than anybody I've seen. But we are higher and have been higher on Zach Charbonnet than anybody. And if anybody wants to come and run their mouth about that, saying, no, we've liked Charbonnet. We liked Charbonnet this much last year, and he returned to football. He returned to college football, completely breaking my heart. And coming back and still being ranked as my number 3 running back, even after a year of playing. Charbonnet's a monster. Wherever he goes, he's going to be an absolute beast. And yeah, some people like Tank Bigsby, and I like him too, but I'm just saying we're not just putting every rookie running back on the Moon Man list. Not to mention, Jahmyr Gibbs made the Mars Man list, and so did Charbonnet.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
You know, so we are...
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Let's see if we can... I got to move these guys around. Poor Gibbs is just... I don't like how he's kind of ignored in the background. Let's do that. There we go. I'm sorry you had to see the shuttle leave. There we go. Gibbs, Charbonnet. Charbonnet still looks a little small. Now I got to make Charbonnet a little bit bigger. Charbonnet, get big, bro. Get big. Flex. Gibby's now covered. Gibby, you need to move over, bro. This is so hard to take a photo with you guys. You're not paying attention. Pay attention. There we go. Marsmen. Let's do it again. Charbonnet, you're sticking out. You're sticking out, Oh, no, Charbonnet, you left. What are you doing? This is a disaster photo shoot. Down a little bit. Rocket there. All right, let's run it back one more time. Here we go.
The Moon Man.
Moon Man.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
There we go. Zach Charbonnet, Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase, Bijan, and Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, and your boy Smitty is manning the shuttle to Mars. I'm heading to Mars. Let's go. Look at these rookie RBs. We have multiple rookie RBs. They're on the Moon Man.
The Moon Man. Dropping loads in outer space. He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
And these rookie running backs, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Charbonnet.
And spinning aimlessly in space.
All on the list, bro. Unbelievable. Look at this list. But Gibbs is an absolute phenom. I can't wait for it. Charbonnet season. Charbonnet.
Get Charbonnet.
I mean, what can you say?
A nice bottle of Charbonnet.
What more can you say? Who doesn't want to pop open a nice bottle of the bubbly with Charbonnet? You know, spraying all over the screen there. Back to Kamara. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the thumb up button. We got 80 people in here and only 26 thumbs up. What's up with that? Let's pump those rookie numbers up. I'm hoping that we get a call from Tony the Tiger. We haven't. Our attorney that calls in constantly. Our guy. Any rookie wide receiver gonna make the Moon Man list? Yes, I believe at least one probably will. It may or may not be JSN. You're gonna have to hang tight. We're going to have to hang tight. Your boy loves Addison. Your boy loves JSN. There are a lot of good wide receivers. Johnston's very, very good. There's a lot of good wide receivers in this draft class. Hang tight on the potential rookie wide receiver drop on the Moon Man list. But this Alvin Kamara news. Anybody want to dial in real quick before we do end the show in a little bit on this. But Alvin Kamara, expect a suspension this year. Expect potentially a suspension at least for half of a year, 6 to 8 games at the minimum. Half a season seems at least likely. And depending on the flow of this court case and the news droppage in the news and how much the media runs with it this time. They didn't run with it the last time news broke on it. When during the season footage got released, it was blurry. Granted, Bob held his phone like this to the camera from very far away, got horrible footage on his phone, gave it to TMZ. They bought it for probably 25 cents on the dollar, and because this guy's horrible at filming. And so the footage was so bad, no one cared. So I don't know how much the media is going to attack this thing. And I'm not saying that I'm rooting for somebody that's accused of something, even though there's video footage of it. I'm not saying I'm rooting for all this. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to ruin for somebody's demise, but in my opinion, Kamara is not held in high regard for me. I don't care about him. He seems like a POS, to be honest with you. And I don't condone the beating of anybody, especially when they're unconscious on the ground. And maybe he did provoke Kamara. Maybe he did say some nasty things, but it doesn't matter. To do what you did with your buddies and think you're going to get away with it when you beat someone senseless, unconscious, and you kick somebody while they're unconscious. It doesn't matter if he provoked you. It doesn't matter. Maybe there'll be footage that shows that Alvin Kamara was shoved, but the word is, and the video footage, according to the reports and people that I have talked to close to the situation, the word is they tried to push the guy out of the elevator, or out of the situation. I believe it was the elevator. Kamara and his buddies, and I believe it was Kamara's hand, said, like, you know, after the guy had maybe berated him and said, like, you know, you suck or whatever he said verbally to antagonize Kamara, he put his hand, Kamara, on said man, and the guy slapped it off. And so everyone's saying, or maybe he shoved him off. Maybe he shoved his arm and pushed him off. Regardless, Kamara put his hand on him, and the guy was merely creating space and distance. And that shove or knock of arm ignited this lambasting and beatdown from the entourage that was accompanying Kamara, and they beat the man senseless, unconscious. And then while the man was unconscious, they all kicked him. Kamara, at least according to the reports that and the people I've talked to, at least one kick. Kamara delivered at least one kick with his buddies to said man that was already unconscious on the floor. So, you know, defend him if you want. I'm not going to defend him. And honestly, you know, that's despicable. I don't care if someone is berating you. You don't have the right to beat someone into a bloody pulp. So Gibbs reminds me so much of Jamal Charles. I would say Jamal Charles and Kamara combined, minus the off the field antics, hopefully. But yeah, Kamara and Jamal Charles, both very, very good ways to describe Jahmyr Gibbs, and that's why he is a moon man.
The moon men, dropping loads in outer space.
That's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a Mars man.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars man.
Gibbs is a Mars man for a reason.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
The one thing I want to know, if anybody can answer this for me, is that if there is a script, like everybody loves to pretend there is, does it include stuff like this? Like, did Kamara wake up and go like this? Did he wake up one day when he was just sitting there and going, I'm going to Vegas, I can't wait. What? I have to beat a man senseless? Are you out of your... Kick him with your buddies. Make sure you have at least 3 or 4 guys with you. Shove said man. Take him to the ground. This isn't cool. You'll play the next season in full? Okay. And then in 2023, you'll miss the entire year and your career's over. Son of a...
The script strikes again.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm just curious if the script includes that kind of stuff. Anyway. Looks like the phone lines are a little quiet today. Maybe I gotta restart them. Usually when no one dials in, it's because the phone lines are broken and I gotta reset everything. But the phone line, let's take one phone call. Somebody dial in. Let's take one phone call. And yeah, the script can be the script can be brutal sometimes. You're right. Okay, the phone lines, I reset them. Maybe it's good. Austin, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show. What are you thinking about Alvin Kamara, broski?
Man, what an idiot!
Watch the bombs, by the way. But yes, agreed. Idiot is the nicest thing I could say about him.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. You got that much talent, that much skill, You got a few years left in the league, and you go and do something like that.
Yeah.
It's real pathetic.
Terry, dial in if you want. What else are you thinking, man? Do you predict he gets suspended before the season begins, or do you think that this plays out like the NFL usually lets it play out, and then he eventually gets a 6 to 8 game? Like, what are you predicting?
I don't think it's going to play out any longer. It's been about a year now.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Like, what's this March 2nd hearing? The court case is set for March 2nd, but a lot of people don't use the right verbiage, and then it ends up being a preliminary hearing of some sort. But we'll have to see if it actually is the beginning of a court case, which it seems kind of odd that we would just hear that the court case is beginning, and it's not some preliminary piece. We'll see. But they're going to try and push it back again. Like, Kamara's team is 100% going to try to do their best to make sure that indicting is different than being convicted. So this is all just going to get kicked off. Like, indicting is like when Deshaun Watson, there was cases against him and he didn't get indicted, means that they didn't move forward. The DA didn't pursue charges from a criminal perspective. So to indict Kamara means that they're moving forward. They've got enough evidence. They feel like they can win a case, and so they're going to go forward criminally. Whether it kicks off right away is tough to know, and that's why I was going to try and bring Tony on, and hopefully Tony can call in on this in another time. But I sent Tony a message. Hopefully Tony can jump on and dial in. But this is crazy, man.
Yeah, it's real sad. I mean, it depends how you look at it too. Like, if you're a dynasty manager and you have Kamara on your team, you obviously want it to get drug out.
Yeah.
But as a human, you don't.
To address this, Arsenal wants to know if you can settle out of court. You can't settle on a criminal. It's not like civil. The civil part could be settled out of court, but when we're talking about criminal, this isn't something that gets settled. This is something that is being pursued by the DA because of evidence. You know what I mean? So there's evidence there. There's enough to indict him. There's enough to move forward with a criminal investigation or a criminal court case. So it has nothing to do with settling. Settling is what happens in civil. So there is side by side. There's a civil and a criminal. They're unrelated to each other. The civil is about money, monetary, hospital bills, things like that. The criminal could include hospital, fees and things like that inside that as well. But the criminal is essentially about the criminality, the potential. Is he going to jail? There's a lot of that involved. There's nothing to do with settling. You can't settle your way out of a crime. You know what I mean? You can settle your way out of a crime you were never convicted of in terms of like a civil case, but you cannot like go. You can't go and, like, let's say tear down the Rocky statue, and smash it with a crane. Rent a crane at home, or rent a tractor at Home Depot and go knock the Rocky statue down, create a crime, and then all of a sudden go settle. Like you're something bad's happening. You can't go beat someone up in the middle of a Target, and then and if there's evidence and there's a criminal case against you, you could settle a civil. Someone could drop charges and not pursue charges, but the DA still will look at it in a case like this and say, do we want to bring charges against him because we have evidence? So there's a whole lot involved in it, but definitely not being. Remember when you broke the Kamara footage live at like 12 a.m., Smitty? Yeah, TM, and no one cared. No one cared. We thought we were the only one that talked about it for like 48 straight hours. We broke it live. It was released and nobody said anything. The next day, nobody went live. Nobody talked about it. No fantasy channels cared. Nobody cared about it. I mean, I can only do what I can do. Smitty off topic, but Skeletor Tony would be perfect on the satellite list. Maybe we do put Skeletor on the satellite list. Austin, what else you got?
At least we're getting about 7 or 8 good running backs in the draft. So makes up for losing an elite talent like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just unfortunate. Kamara, he was special. He still is special. He's a special player. It's just
Yeah. So
what can you do? You don't
Robert
act a fool and
Robert says that he can do a plea deal. So this is correct. In a criminal case, you can plea. In a civil case, you can settle, right? Obviously. But a plea is an admission of guilt, Robert. A plea would be the only time you would plea in a criminal case of this severity, where someone's beat senseless into cracked their skull, and all this has happened. The only time that you would actually see like a plea is to get out of prison time. A plea is to lessen your prison sentence. A plea is to lessen your punishment, and you're accepting the guilt of it all. So if Alvin Kamara pleads, he's definitely getting suspended. You know what I'm saying? So, Austin, appreciate you. You bailed out, no problem. I appreciate you, my man. Call back if you still want to add something. But Robert, a plea is not getting him out of trouble. A plea is an admission of guilt to some sort of level that's going to result in him being out of the league or suspended or lessening prison time or not going to prison, but totally accepting responsibility for what you did, and it's going to cost Kamara. A plea would be as bad as, in some ways, a conviction. So, just to clear that up. Love you, Smitty. Thanks for the call. Got to run. Appreciate you for getting on there, bro. Video don't lie, says Jerome. We do need a clearer version. That Bob that recorded it off his cell phone didn't do anybody any favors. Let's see here. So he probably looked at a season-long suspension. We don't know, Fantasy Dad. It depends on how this stuff all unfolds. You know what I mean? Like if the court case is actually beginning on March 2nd, or if this is a preliminary hearing and then the court case starts in September and he's able to hit the field at first, or whatever. It depends on the NFL. The NFL usually lets criminal stuff play out before they hand out discipline. So one could argue that maybe he plays again and doesn't get suspended until 2024. It's possible. The way the NFL acts. And the NFL is very heavy-handed one moment and not heavy-handed the next. The NFL is the most inconsistent organization when it comes down to this kind of stuff and disciplinary action and all that. And they're worried about themselves. They're worried about bad light. They're worried about letting Kamara cast bad light on the NFL. They're also worried about taking action to shed light on a topic that everyone's ignoring. There's all kinds of angles here. What the NFL would have to do is put them on paid leave, because traditionally they do wait for the criminal process to play out. But because Alvin Kamara, there's footage and it's a horrible situation, they can go to him and say, you will be put on paid leave while you fight for your innocence or whatever, and you just can't be on the field at the same time. You can't be in court and on the field throughout the week, bro. It's bad for the NFL. We're going to pay you, though. We're not disciplining you. We're paying you. You're on paid leave. Now go handle your business and come back when you're all cleared, and we know he won't be. And so that's how the NFL will probably handle it. But you don't know. You just don't know. Paid leave exemplis is really the only option, in my opinion. And that's what I said all last offseason. He's going to be on paid leave. He's going to be on paid leave. Exemplis, paid leave. Exemplis, paid leave. And he didn't. The NFL didn't do anything. They're heavy-handed one moment, and they don't react the other moment. You don't know. You can't predict the NFL. I could sit here and tell you it's going to be the commissioner exemplis paid leave, like I said, all season long last year, that he was going to be eventually thrown on. It could be that, or he could skate by for another year. We don't know. Kamara better call Saul. That's right. Saul could maybe get him out of this. If the season's punishment... if not a season punishment, definitely see at least 10 games or see a jail sentence and never plays again. Bro, it wouldn't be shocking if he had to do some time or he was out of the league, or one of those degrees of punishment. It also wouldn't shock me at all if he played the entire 2023 season and just got pushed. I don't know. Smitty to the moon. How long will Kamara be out? As you've heard me say, this very second, we don't know. My guess is 6 to 8 games at a minimum, probably the entire season if the NFL acts properly on this. But will the NFL act properly? Will the NFL decide to put him on paid leave and get him out of the league while he handles his business? Tough to say. Let's see. Smitty, what happened to the security guy? Double A, if you're around, dial in. if you would like to discuss this or if you have any information. He may not have anything. Smitty, a Breaking Bad fan. What do I look like? Of course I'm a Breaking Bad fan. That and The Sopranos are the two best TV shows to ever be produced. Kamara to Uranus. He's already on it.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
He's the leader. It was Mixon, but now it's Kamara. Kamara is the king of planet Uranus. We got Watson over here. We got Dalvin Cook over here. We've got Alvin Kamara as the leader. Mixon's kind of, he was the leader, but Alvin Kamara definitely took over. Let's make this a little bit more prominent. There we go. Planet Uranus, I give you their leader, Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, the leader of planet Uranus.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
What did Cook do? He's just on his way out. You don't have to have done something dumb to be on the planet Uranus list. It just means that you're going to drop off the face of the earth. He's turned old. It's not his fault. But he has been in some off the field issues too. But he also has he's had shoulder injuries for his shoulder. When they dug up King Tut from the tomb, his shoulder's in better condition than Dalvin Cook's. King Tut is a better ball and socket and labrum than Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's labrum and shoulder look like a blurry MRI when they do it. It's like, oh, we got to do that again. This is blurry. No, it's not. It's just mangled. It's mangled. Poor guy's had shoulder injuries so many times. He just had surgery too. But Smitty, get ready to put Rice to the moon. Terry, appreciate you. Watson is their leader. He's like he's like vice president. But Alvin Kamara just jumped to the top of the list.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Anyway, appreciate you all being here. The phone lines are still open if anybody wants to dial in and discuss this situation. Old man Cook. Yeah, Cook is definitely going to fall off. We got a show in about an hour and a half, so I'll see you all in an hour and a half. Cook actually had an incident with an ex. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. He's got the off the field issues as well. That hasn't even gone away, but it certainly hasn't popped back up. So I think it's tough at this point to really assume that Cook is going to miss any time because of that situation. But Cook's a disaster all the way around. So you got the injury risk, you got the shoulder situation, you got the fact that he's getting older, you got the fact that the offense went pass heavy and kind of faded away from the ways that they used Cook in the past, but he kept ripping off a long run at the end of games and kind of salvaged his year. And so I think Cook is going to completely fall off. So definitely avoid him in 2023. I like Ty Chandler a lot, by the way. Smitty, live anytime breaking news. You ain't lying even in the off season. That's right, number 84. We're here for it, bro. We're going to take over the fantasy industry this year. We're going to take over the fantasy industry this year, and we're going to take over the news industry in terms of this stuff. Maybe not everybody knows we're live, but we go live on this stuff as if we're a breaking network on TV. We are the ESPN of YouTube in terms of dropping news and being here to discuss the hot topics as it happens and break them down. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm breaking the news myself. I'm out there and I'm posting it before Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or something, but you need somewhere to go to get it all broken down. And I do that as fast as I can. I do it faster than anybody. And if news breaks, I'm out here. We got a Deebo Samuel rumor as well about potentially being traded. I might leave that for the 7 p.m. show and lead with that. So we'll be talking about Deebo Samuel probably to kick off kick off the 7 p.m. Show. Your lives are to the moon. Thank you. Appreciate you. Rise above. You are the man. Kamara with the Kareem Hunt treatment. Maybe.
Motion detected at the backyard.
I think, and that's the front yard. Ziggy's confused. I think I'm going to go get my food. Unless there's another piece of news that breaks, let's go ahead and just look real quick. Let's take a little look under the hood and see if the news world wants to screw me yet again out of my lunch. Joe Thomas, we got Alvin Kamara. Sirianni, nothing there. Okay, I'm going to go to my next news sources and such, see if there's anything else that I need to discuss real quickly. We've got another one. Cardinals request to interview running back coach Joel Thomas. Okay, no, looks like we're good. We're good. We got coaching interview stuff. I think I could skip over that. We got Giants have signed wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins, who was set to become an exclusive rights free agent. This guy's a really good wide receiver, a little exciting kid. Hodgins is I wouldn't say moon man material, but I would say this guy's like capable of being like a satellite moon man. He could be on the satellite list. I'm not saying he'll ever make the moon man list, but Hodgins, I like Hodgins a lot. I think people should take notice. This is a great wide receiver 3-4 or a great 4-5.
Satellite men.
Maybe he makes it.
Space cadets in training.
Maybe Hodgins finds his way onto this. Did Hopkins' trade clause get voided? Yes. And we broke that on the video before. So go watch the video before this, Good Bar, so you can get more information on Hopkins. But his no trade clause was voided when he tested positive for PEDs. That news broke about 3 hours ago, and we broke it on the show. So go watch the Hopkins and Lamar video. Appreciate you all. I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m., which is about an hour and a half, to talk about Debo and any other news that might be surfacing at the time. Appreciate you all. See you later. Hit that thumb up button on your way out the door. Appreciate you all. And Javi, if you're still here, bro, Javi, are you here? This guy dropped a $20 super chat, and I didn't see it until he left. Hopefully Javi returns. Javi is the man. I'm gonna acknowledge Javi at the end of every live stream until I find out that he knows that I saw his super chat. Javi is the man, the myth, the legend. Javi, you are a beast. I will see you all at 7 p.m. Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate you. Drake London gonna be a beast this year, absolutely. If Kamara gets a Hunt treatment, imagine him in Kansas City in 2 years. He'll be done, bro. I don't think he's got the time to come back, but it's funny though. See you in an hour and a half, says David. David, appreciate you. Maybe I'll pump some iron, David, right beforehand. I will see you all very, very soon.
The script strikes again.